Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are bringing together 10 of the most compelling and coveted watches from across the entire luxury spectrum. A list that spans bronze dive watches and Japanese snow-inspired dials, French elegance, and German precision, and culminates in two timepieces that represent the absolute gold standard of what a wristwatch can be. This is not a list defined by a single brand or a single philosophy. It is defined by one thing only: excellence. Every watch here earns its place through outstanding design, extraordinary engineering, and the kind of enduring desirability that no amount of marketing can manufacture on its own. Whether you're a seasoned collector or simply someone who appreciates objects made to the very highest standard, today's list will not disappoint. Let's get into it. Number 10. Tudor Black Bay Bronze M79250BA. The Tudor Black Bay Bronze M79250BA is one of the most atmospherically distinctive watches produced by any manufacturer in the past decade. A timepiece that takes the already excellent Black Bay platform and transforms it through the alchemy of a single material choice into something entirely, compellingly its own. Bronze is not a conventional case material for a modern dive watch, and that is precisely what makes it so extraordinary. Unlike stainless steel, which ages uniformly and predictably, bronze develops a living patina over time, a unique oxidation pattern shaped by the wearer's skin chemistry, environment, and habits that makes every example genuinely individual. No two Black Bay bronze watches will age in exactly the same way, which means that the watch you put on your wrist today will, over years of wear, become a record of your own life written in copper and tin. The 41mm case carries Tudor's heritage-inspired design language with confidence. The gilt dial, the snowflake hands, the domed crystal, and the diver's bezel all referencing the Tudor diving watches of the 1960s and 1970s with affection and accuracy. Powering it is Tudor's MT56001 manufacture movement with a 70-hour power reserve and COSC chronometer certification, a caliber of genuine quality that reflects Tudor's considerable investment in in-house movement development. The Black Bay Bronze is a watch with personality, history, and soul in equal measure. The Tudor Black Bay Bronze M79250BA retails for approximately $475 USD. Number 9. Grand Seiko SPGA 211. Snowflake. The Grand Seiko SPGA 211, universally and affectionately known as the Snowflake, is one of the most quietly breathtaking watches ever made, a timepiece whose beauty requires no explanation and whose engineering requires no apology. Grand Seiko occupies a unique position in the watch world. A Japanese manufacturer that approaches the craft of watchmaking with a philosophical depth and aesthetic sensibility entirely distinct from the Swiss tradition, drawing instead on centuries of Japanese artisanal culture to produce dials and cases of extraordinary refinement. The Snowflake's dial is the defining achievement of this philosophy, a textured white surface inspired by the heavy snowfall of the Shinshu region surrounding Grand Seiko's Shinshu watch studio, finished by hand to a depth and complexity that photography struggles to capture and words cannot fully convey. In person, the dial shifts and breathes as the light changes around it, moving from bright white to deep silver to the faintest suggestion of blue depending on the angle of illumination. The spring drive caliber 9R65 within is itself an engineering marvel, a movement that combines a traditional mechanical mainspring with an electromagnetic glide wheel to achieve quartz-level accuracy of plus or minus 1 second per day from an entirely self-winding mechanical energy source. The polished Zaratsu-finished case surfaces are achieved through a hand-polishing technique of such precision that the reflections they produce are geometrically perfect. The SPGA 211 is a masterpiece in the truest sense of the word. The Grand Seiko SPGA 211 Snowflake retails for approximately $6,200 USD. Number 8. Cartier Santos de Cartier WSSA 061. The Cartier Santos de Cartier WSSA 061 is the living descendant of the world's first purpose-built wristwatch, a design created in 1904 by Louis Cartier for his friend, the Brazilian aviator Alberto Santos Dumont, who needed to read the time during flight without releasing the controls of his aircraft. That origin story is not merely charming historical color, it is the foundation of a design language so strong, so coherent, and so immediately recognizable that it has remained essentially unchanged for over a century. The exposed square bezel screws are not decorative flourishes. They are the structural logic of the original design made visible, and they give the Santos a graphic boldness that no other watch in the luxury segment possesses. The WSSA0061 presents the Santos in its medium steel configuration with the quick-switch interchangeable strap and bracelet system, an innovation that allows the wearer to move between a steel bracelet and a leather or rubber strap in seconds without tools, transforming the character of the watch entirely. The caliber 1847 MC inside delivers reliable, precise automatic timekeeping in a movement regulated to Cartier's demanding internal standards. The integrated bracelet with its SmartLink sizing system allows bracelet adjustment at home without a watchmaker. The Santos WSSA 0061 is a piece of living history that wears as well today as it did in the age of early aviation. The Cartier Santos de Cartier WSSA 061 retails for approximately $7,350 USD. Number 7. IWC Portugueser Chronograph IW371601. The IWC Portugueser Chronograph IW371601 is the definitive expression of a watch that has held a singular place in the affections of serious collectors since its introduction. A large-cased, beautifully proportioned chronograph that wears its classical design references with confidence and its Swiss engineering heritage with genuine pride. The Portugueser's origins trace back to 1939 when two Portuguese watch merchants commissioned IWC to produce a wristwatch using the highly accurate pocket watch movements of the era, resulting in a case larger than any conventional wristwatch of the time and establishing a tradition of generous proportions that continues to define the collection today. The 41mm case of the IW371601 houses IWC's caliber 69355, a manufactured chronograph movement with column wheel control, a flyback function that resets and immediately restarts the chronograph with a single pusher press, and a 46-hour power reserve. The dial is a masterclass in classical chronograph layout. Two contrasting subdials, a tachymeter scale on the chapter ring, and applied hour markers finished to a standard that speaks to IWC's considerable manufacture capability. On a fine leather strap, the Portugueser chronograph wears with an elegant authority that few chronographs at any price level can match. The IWC Portugueser chronograph IW371601 retails for approximately $9,200 USD fee. Number 6. A. Lange und Söhne Saxonia Thin 211,26. The A. Lange und Söhne Saxonia Thin 211. Year 26 is precision and restraint elevated to an art form, a watch from one of the world's most revered German manufacturers that communicates its extraordinary quality entirely through understatement, requiring the wearer to know what they are looking at to fully appreciate what they have on their wrist. Lang was founded in Glashütte, Saxony in 1845, suppressed during the East German era, and relaunched in 1994 to immediate critical acclaim, producing, in its very first collection, 4 watches that instantly established it among the finest manufacturers on Earth. The Saxonia Thin carries that founding philosophy forward in its purest form. A 40mm white gold case of barely 6.1mm in height, a silver dial of immaculate simplicity featuring only the most essential information, and the caliber L093. One movement within, finished by hand to Lange's legendarily demanding standards of 3/4 plate construction, Glashütte ribbing, hand-engraved balance cock, and blued screws. Every single Lang movement is assembled, tested, disassembled, cleaned, and reassembled a second time before leaving the manufacturer, a process that speaks to a commitment to quality that has no parallel in the industry. The Saxonia Thin is what watchmaking looks like when money is no object and compromise is not a concept. The A. Lange & Söhne Saxonia Thin 211.026 retails for approximately $26,500 USD. Number 5. Patek Philippe Calatrava 6199G. The Patek Philippe Calatrava 619G is the soul of watchmaking in a single object, a dress watch of such serene perfection and such deep historical resonance that owning one feels less like a purchase and more like an act of stewardship. The Calatrava was introduced in 1932, taking its name from the cross of the Spanish Order of Calatrava, whose design is echoed in the Patek Philippe crown logo, and it has stood without interruption as the archetype of the round dress watch for nearly a century. The 61119G presents this eternal design in an 18-karat white gold case of 38mm, a size that wears with the slim elegance a dress watch demands, paired with a silk-brushed silver opaline dial whose surface quality represents Patek's dial artisans working at the very limit of their craft. The applied golden hour markers and baton hands are finished to a standard of polish and proportion that rewards examination under magnification. At the heart of the 6119G beats the caliber 26330SC, a manufacturer self-winding movement with Patek's Gyromax balance and Spiromax hairspring, both in silicon, delivering exceptional precision and longevity in a caliber of immaculate internal finishing. The Calatrava 6119G is not the most complicated watch Patek makes, nor the most expensive, but it may be the most profound. The Patek Philippe Calatrava 6199G retails for approximately $33,000 USD. Number 4. Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15500 ST. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15500 ST is the current production flagship of the watch that changed everything. The original luxury sports watch, designed by Gerald Genta in a single overnight session in 1972, and launched at a price point that made the industry gasp. Built entirely from stainless steel at a moment when steel was considered unworthy of a luxury watch. The Royal Oak's audacity paid off in a transformation of the entire luxury watch industry, establishing the integrated bracelet sports watch as the most desirable category in all of horology, a position it holds to this day. The 15500 ST represents the Royal Oak at its most refined and most technically advanced iteration to date. The case geometry has been subtly but meaningfully improved, the dial finishing elevated to an even higher standard of petite tapisserie texture and beveling, and the movement upgraded to the caliber 4302 with a substantially improved 60-hour power reserve. The signature octagonal bezel with its exposed hexagonal screws, the integrated bracelet flowing seamlessly from case to wrist, and the unmistakable grande tapisserie dial pattern are all present with an exactness of execution that explains why waiting lists for this watch stretch to years at authorized dealers worldwide. The Royal Oak 15500 ST is not merely a great watch. It is the watch that made greatness in this category possible. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15500 ST retails for approximately $44,000 USD. Number 3. Rolex Datejust 41 126334. The Rolex Datejust 41 reference 126334 is the Datejust resolved to its most powerful and confident modern expression, a watch that takes the 77-year-old lineage of the world's first self-winding waterproof date watch and presents it with a combination of materials and finishing that feels both entirely contemporary and completely timeless. The 126334 pairs a fluted white gold bezel with a steel oyster case and jubilee bracelet, a combination that introduces a precious metal accent without committing fully to gold, creating a two-tone character of remarkable elegance and versatility. The fluted bezel's machined ridges catch and scatter light with an almost jewelry-like quality, elevating the Datejust's visual presence well beyond what its case metal alone would suggest. The dial options available in the 126334 family include some of the most celebrated configurations in the modern Rolex catalog. From the richly sunburst blue that has become the signature Datejust look of this generation to the warm chocolate brown and the classic silver that never dates. The caliber 3235 within is Rolex's finest current self-winding manufacture movement, 70-hour power reserve, chronergy escapement for improved efficiency, and superlative chronometer certification to within -2 + 2 seconds per day. The 1263334 is the Datejust that does everything. It dresses up, it dresses down, and it does both with complete conviction. The Rolex Datejust 41 126334 retails for approximately $12,550 USD. Number 2. Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711 Mach-1A. The Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711 Mach-1A is, without reasonable argument, the most coveted production wristwatch of the modern era, a watch whose waiting lists ran to a decade at authorized dealers, whose discontinuation in 2021 caused a genuine global news event, and whose pre-owned market price sits at multiples of its original retail that defy any conventional understanding of watch valuation. The Nautilus was designed by Gerald Genta in 1976 as a direct response to the Royal Oak, a luxury sports watch in steel with an integrated bracelet, an octagonal porthole-inspired bezel, and a horizontal embossed dial that has become one of the most recognizable surfaces in all of applied design. At 40 mm, the 5711 Mach-1A wears with a proportional harmony that photographs cannot fully capture, slim, wrist-hugging, and balanced in a way that makes watches both larger and smaller feel somehow less considered. The dial in its classic blue configuration is a phenomenon unto itself, a gradient sunburst blue that shifts from deep midnight to brilliant sky depending on the light, finished with applied gold hour markers and hands of exceptional quality. The caliber 26330 SC movement within upholds Patek's exacting manufacture standards in a self-winding caliber of beautiful internal finishing. The 5711 1A was discontinued, but its legend is permanent. available pre-owned for approximately $130,000 $180,000 USD. Number 1. Rolex Submariner 116661LN. The Rolex Submariner 126661LN takes the top position on today's list, and in doing so, it claims what many would argue is simply its rightful place at the summit of the modern watch world. The Submariner is the watch that invented a category. Since its introduction in 1953, it has defined what a dive watch is, what a sports watch can be, and what enduring design looks like when every decision is made correctly and nothing is ever left to chance. The 1266LN is the black bezel, black dial Submariner in steel, the configuration that collectors refer to simply as the Sub. And in its current form, it represents the most complete and technically accomplished version of this watch that Rolex has ever produced. The 41mm oyster case is a fraction larger than the previous 40mm generation, adding a presence and wrist authority that the watch carries effortlessly. The black Cerachrome ceramic bezel insert is scratch-resistant, fade-proof, and finished with such precision that it sets an industry standard for what a tool watch bezel should look like and feel like.